Hello, let's continue our Sudoku adventure with Eightle Killers by ChinStrap. So we have normal 6x6 Sudoku rules. That means in each row, each column, in each 2x3 box, we are placing the digits 1 to 6 exactly once each. We also have this diagonal where we also need to place 1 to 6 exactly once each. This diagonal is added as an extra constraint to say, hey, this is like a row, column, or box. It's just an extra one. All right, in addition to that, we have all these 8s outside the grid. These are little killer clues. What you do is you just follow the arrow until you reach the other end of the grid. So here would go to here. This goes all the way down to here. This goes to here. And for all the cells it points at, you sum them up and they must sum to the clue. In this case, they all sum to 8. So these 3 sum to 8, these 5 sum to 8, these 2 sum to 8, etc. So for example, here, now I'm allowed to repeat digits as long as Sudoku allows me to. So I can do like a 4, I could do 4 3 1, or sorry, 4 1 3, which doesn't repeat any digits, but I could also do 1 1 6, but not like this because that repeats the one in the box. But I could do it like this because that doesn't violate any other constraints. So this would be one way to fulfill this 8. All right, and that's it. Those are the rules. There's a link in the description if you'd like to try the puzzle yourself, and I'm going to get started right now. Okay. I want to start with this 5-cell little killer. A good way to think about sums in general, but little killers especially, is to consider ones that are near extremes, either very, very small or very, very large for having to squeeze in that sum. And then think about how many degrees of freedom you have and try to keep that in mind. So these 5 cells, 8 is very small. Adding to 8 in 5 cells, they have to be pretty small digits. And so what is the absolute smallest I can do? Well, this is at its smallest a 1-2 pair. And this is at its smallest a 1-2 pair because of the box. And then here the smallest I can put is a 1. So this adds to 3, 6, 7. So 7 is 1 away from 8, meaning we have 1 degree of freedom. With 1 degree of freedom, any of these can be 1 larger, right? If I make the 1 a 2, I can do a 1-2 pair, a 1-2 pair, and then a 2. And that would add to 8, 3, 6, and then 2 more is 8. Or I could do a 1-3 pair here, making that add to 4, and we could do 3 plus 4 is 7, and then this would be a 1. Notice you only get to use 1 of your degrees of freedom. Or this could be a 1-3 pair. This 3 tells us it wouldn't be here, but this could be a 3. Now notice that this can only be a 1-2 pair or a 1-3 pair, so we always have to use the 1. Because if we didn't use the 1, our smallest is 2, 3, and that uses up 2 degrees of freedom to add to 5 instead of 3. So basically, this can add to 3 or 4, this can add to 3 or 4, and this can add to 1 or 2. Or this can be 1 or 2. All right. So have we restricted 1s in an interesting way? I'm not sure. The next thing I'm looking at are here and here, but here especially because there's a 3 sitting here, and I know 3 is special. All right. So adding to 8, there's only 2 ways to add to 8 in 2 digits. There's the 2, 6 and the 3, 5, and 3 is gone. So this is just a 2, 6 pair. And that makes this a 1, 3, 5. Not 1, 3, 5, sorry, 1, 4, 5. Okay. Then up here, we know this is 1, 2, or 3, but we can't actually use 1 in a sum to 8. It would have to be 1, 7, and a 2-cell sum to 8, I mean. And so actually we can place this 1, removes this 1. Okay, so that puts 1 in one of these 2 on this diagonal. And that's going to point. You can point along diagonals just like a row or a column. Since 1's in one of these 2 for the box, it can't be also here. A 1 here would remove 1 from every one in the box because of the diagonal. And so that actually places this 1 as well. So now it's a little bit easier to see that we can increase this to 3, or this to 2, but only one of them. And then that would get us to sum to 8. So we could do 2, 2, 2. We could do 2, 3 pair here with a 1. I'm not sure what it is yet. Okay. Now, these aren't 1. This one looks in. This one looks up. That places the 1 in this box. Okay, and that's part of this 8 sum. So we already know this adds to 2. So this has to add to 6. So we could do 1, 5. This would be 5. This would be 1. Or we could just do 2, 4. Those are the 2 ways to add to 6 and 2. Okay, and this is 2 or 3, so this is 5 or 6. We should finish this sum. I got distracted. Can we do more with 1s? 1's in one of these 2. I think that's really all we get. What about in this box? 1's in one of these 2 in this box. All right. 5, 2, 4. I haven't looked at this sum yet, so we should look at this one. What's interesting to me is that we can't do a 1-2 pair for the simple matter that, well, actually neither of these can be 1, first of all. So actually the minimum is 2, 3. Minimum I can do is 2, 3. This would be 2, this would be 3. That adds to 5. And so this can't exceed 3. So this is 2 or 3. Because if this was a 4, 4 plus 5 is 9. That's too big. The minimum here is 5. So this is, if this was a 2, this would add to 6. And we can't use the 1, so it would be a 2, 4. So this is from 2, 3, 4, and it must contain the 2. If it must contain the 2, this is our 1. That places this 1, and that places that 1. All right, this adds to 3, so this has to be 5 to get us to 8. Gives us the 6. 6 plus 2 is 8. All right, we haven't used our degree of freedom here yet. This has to be a 3, and you can check that that does add to 8. So that's a 2. So now this has to add to 6. Okay, that checks out. This is our 6 and 2, giving us 4 and 2, giving us 5 and 4. All right, this is cascading. We need 3 in the column, and we need a 4. 3 in the corner. This is 4, 5. That 4 tells us that's 5, that's 4. 2 looks in, placing that 2, and this is 3 and 5. So no, 3 and 6. Anyway, that's 6, that's 3. All right. This is a 6 for the row. Here we need a 3 and a 5. This is a 4. This is 5, 6. Oops, 5, 6. This is a 5. All right, it might have to do with the diagonal. We need a 2 and a 4. So this is 2, this is 4. And then this is 5. Oh, sorry. This is 6 and 3. This is 5 and 6. This is 5 and 3. And we're done. All right, cool puzzle, ChinStrap. Degrees of freedom, I think, helped to an extent. I think actually, like, we thought about the degrees of freedom here, but actually thinking about the degrees of freedom here ended up being what the crux of the puzzle after limiting the ones. Cool. Nice use of the diagonal as well. Well, that's it. How'd you do?